Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the pleasure of having AWAD. I want to make sure I get your name right. AWAD. Is it? Pronounce
That's
it
right.
for me, Ali.
Just think of a wad of money. That's my last name. Yeah, Ali
AWAD of money. Okay, and he is from Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm correct on that, and a practicing lawyer down in Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm very excited to have Ali on this show today because I've been following him for the last couple of years, and he really is a thought leader, a groundbreaker, and he's doing stuff that I just think everybody should really get out your notepads and take some really good notes, because if you'll go through what he's going to say he's done, he's proven. And I was talking to him before the show. I like actionable tips. So we're going to talk about how to use videos and social media today to grow your practice on a shoestring budget. So stay tuned. Now, Ali, you were born like me. You were born poor. Your family came in from overseas, immigrants, and just like me, you were born poor. So you've had to pretty much make it on your own, and I admire that. And what you have done is, like, the first year, folks, he spent less than $6,000 and generated over $1 million in fees. He settled $3 million worth of cases. I hope you were charging a third.
Well, you get what you can in the beginning. Some people got to negotiate you.
Yeah, but so I want to dig deep. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. I don't, and then we'll get started, because I know I just covered the outer layer.
Sure. So a little bit of background about me. My name is Ali Awad, and I help injured people make a wad of money. And that's trademark, so you better not steal it. My claim to fame is the social media thing, but before I became an attorney and sort of a social media influencer, I grew up in the Bible Belt in Dalton, Georgia, with immigrant parents from Palestine. We grew up, I would say, very poor, because when you're worried about your lights getting cut off and it's normal to have cockroaches in the house, and the public school bus has to drop you off at your dad's mechanic shop from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. because there's nowhere else for you to go. So you learn how to change tires at age 7, 8, 9. You have your first workplace injury at age 8. You start an online business at 9 just to help supporting your family. I would say you didn't necessarily grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth. Right. So I learned at a very young age the power of the internet, because I actually started my entrepreneurship journey at age 5, where I would print off pictures of Yu-Gi-Oh characters and Dragon Ball Z characters. So these are these cartoons that we would watch on TV. And I'd go on Yahoo, because Google wasn't really a thing at that time. Go on Yahoo, type in Dragon Ball Z. And since the internet was so new, this is in the 90s, early to mid 90s, the internet was so new that new pictures would come up almost every other day. And I distinctly remember the URL at the bottom would be yahoo.com/Dragon Ball Z picture 1. So I'd take those, print them off, and sell them at school. And that's how I started hustling. And then it just kind of evolved. And now I just hustle personal injury cases to a jury.
Good deal. But what I'm impressed about is that the way you acquire your cases. So I want to talk today about social media. And I want you to kind of tell us how you were able to do that. How were you able to do on a $6,000 budget, generate $3 million in settlements your first year practicing law? Or
so the first year out of law school, I actually went and worked for as an associate attorney, and I was getting paid $40,000 a year. And at that time, I knew it wasn't a lot of money, but I just wanted the experience. Right. During that time, I learned how to not run a law firm and how to not treat your employees. So in 2017, I decided to quit, hang my own shingle. And so I just really tried to just, put a couple things together that year. But 2018 was my first full year in business. And that was the year I decided to start boosting ads on social media by just going on my phone and clicking boost. When you have a business profile on Instagram and Facebook, you can boost your posts. And I spent exactly $5,598 on boosting posts, resulting in $3.23 million in revenue, which was over $1 million in attorney's fees. So I guess I kind of became a millionaire at 28 because I was self-employed and I had one paralegal. And then we just kept evolving and changing and getting better at the video content. And now we do, a couple $1 million a month on average, just in settlements, and all fueled from cases that come from social media.
That is remarkable. So I was watching one of your videos earlier before I came on here, and one thing that I really liked was you talked about how you could take 15 minutes of video and create like 50 pieces of content. I think you said, and I want to talk about this, that it's really, it's all about content, right?
Right.
Social media is all about content. You got to give people what they want, I guess, or what you think they need. So tell me how, if you were, and I know you teach this to lawyers too, and we'll give you information at the end in case somebody wants to take you up on that. But tell us, how would a lawyer get started? I mean, do they need a lot of equipment? How do you get started? If you say, Ollie, I just don't have a load of money, how am I going to get started at this? Give me the tips.
So if you don't have resources, you need to be resourceful. I think the biggest problem with entrepreneurs who start off with a lot of money is that they have too much money. And so you don't really think about how to stretch that dollar and maximize your time with your video. So I had to figure out a way. And when I say video, I really mean your marketing strategies. I'm just heavy on the video side, so I sometimes use those interchangeably. But if you don't have the resources, you should focus on creating video content on the most popular platforms. And my recommendation, if you want some actionable tips right now, as an attorney that's looking to bring in cases, here's how you know if you are failing at marketing. If you have friends and family that need your services and they decide to not hire you and instead hire a TV lawyer or a billboard lawyer, then you have failed. So you don't start with grabbing cases from everywhere else. Start with what's right in front of you. A lot of times your own friends and family are the ones that are going to patronize you and hire you when they need you. And if they don't trust you, then who is going to trust you?
Yeah.
So I would say start by creating videos that educate your friends and family that are on your personal page on Facebook, because everyone's got a Facebook page and you probably have 500 to 2,000 people on that Facebook page. And if I want to talk about statistics, I know that at least one of those people is going to be involved in an accident. Not at least 5 of them have friends or family that are involved in an accident or need your specific type of service, be it immigration or family law or criminal defense, whatever it may be. So start there. Start by creating a video, and I can give you some actionable tips on how to do that video, how to do the copy for it so that you can get the most reactions and the most comments to boost you in the Facebook algorithm. We can talk about all of that, but first, get your phone out, create a video, and then post it online, and start by simply answering the most frequently asked questions that come your way. That's where you start.
Okay. You said something that resonated with me. When I first year I got out of law school, went with this firm. I can't remember how it came up, but the old man, he was in his 80s. He said, "Son, if your friends won't hire you, you think your enemies are going to hire you?"
Wow.
He said,
That's so great.
So that sounds true, because it's all about right trust. People got to like you, trust you, and know you. And what better place to start than your Facebook friends? I agree. So when you say you start out with the most frequently asked questions, but there's just a lot more to it than that. I've watched your videos, and you're slick. You really, really squeeze everything out of a 15-minute video. I mean, to create enormous amounts of content. And if it's all about content, so can you go through the process of how a lawyer would do that? And I guess the deal is they just use their phone with all the iPhones and everything now. Everything's with HD, and I mean, really, that's all you need in a good microphone, right?
So you don't even need a microphone. This honestly is not even plugged in. This is just for looks. You know what I mean? I use this for some of my podcasts when I want to record audio only, but for my video, I just have it here because it's a stationary object. All you need is your phone. And if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching this video on YouTube, you already have internet access. And almost every device that has internet access these days has a camera. So let's get to brass tacks here. Let's talk about how you can create content that will directly generate clients for your practice on social media. Now, you're not going to be an expert from day one. You're not going to be good at this from day one. You're going to make mistakes. If you look at my camera roll, you're going to see so many of the same videos done over and over and over again because I wasn't good at it and I still make mistakes to this day. So the very first thing is understanding that perfect never gets done. Done is better than perfect because perfect never gets done. Just create a video. And to start, keep your videos under 1 minute. So here's an example. If I'm doing a live example right now, let's say you're a personal injury lawyer, because I can obviously do those videos, off the cuff, right? And you want to start your first video. A very frequently asked question is, how much is my case worth? So we know as personal injury lawyers that your case is worth whatever your medical records show and the ability for you to present that case in the light most favorable to you by not having gaps in care, by having decent property damage, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to get into the technical data. We want to grab people's attention. So your video first must grab the attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds. Here's how to not do that first. Before I tell you how to do it, here's how to not do it. Don't introduce yourself and your name and your practice in the first 3 to 5 seconds. Because if I say, hey, I'm Ali Awad with Ali Awad Law and Injury Attorneys based out of Atlanta, Georgia, you've already swiped 3 videos. You're gone, man. You're no longer there. So you start your video with a hook that's going to grab people's attention. And that hook sometimes is not done in the beginning. It's the middle or towards the end of your video. Because while we're having this conversation about what's your case worth, you might have the best piece of information towards the end of the video, right? Which is you need to see an MRI, you need to see an orthopedic doctor after you get your MRI done, and that's how you're going to get 10 to 20 times more money on your case. So your video needs to start by saying that, because now you've got my attention. Hey, I took this case from $3,000 to $25,000 by doing this one thing. How's that for an introduction compared to, hi, I'm Ali Awad with Ali Awad Law Injury Attorneys. So I sometimes treat this like I'm giving my cat mush mush, a suppository or something. It's like medicine that you got to give to people because no one really cares about you unless they know that you care. So give them information that's valuable, that's beneficial. No one wants to know where you work and what you're doing and how much fun you're having, how much money you're making, unless it directly applies to them. And you have to basically dilute this information and present it in such a way where it grabs their attention, almost like spam. It has spam effect. It grabs their attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds. And you do that by having a catchy hook and an introduction. So don't start your video with your name. Start your video with money or your highest level of energy in your video. And when you edit it, just take that portion of the video and put it in the front. Now you're saying, all right, well, I don't have video editing software and I can't do all of this. Great. Use TikTok. There's a social media platform called TikTok right now. And in just like 8 months, I got over 100,000 followers on there. And I'm getting 6 and 7 figure cases from TikTok, spending $0 on ads, all organic videos. This is hot right now. This is real money, guys. Millions of dollars from just doing exactly what I told you. 1 minute or less videos that are edited to grab people's attention within the first 3 seconds. And if you can, put subtitles in those videos. TikTok allows you to do all of that, all in the app. And then you can share that video on other platforms. Do that. Try 10 of those videos. Try 100 of those videos. I promise you, once you get that first client that saw one of your videos, it's going to become addicting.
So how do you decide what they really want to see?
The market decides what they want to see. You don't decide what they want to see. You do it based off of, look, Ken, maybe in the 90s, 2000s, you would have to get you'd have to try a sample of your marketing material, and you want to present it to a focus group to determine whether they're going to like it. And you'd spend so much money trying to figure out whether this focus group is going to respond well. And they'd still do that with Super Bowl commercials and things like that. But the beautiful thing about social media is that I can create 100 videos for you in the time that it would take you to do one video and test it and see if it works or it doesn't work. And by then I've already made 100 times more money. So try different videos and your audience will tell you if it's a good video. And my rule is 10% engagement. If you have 1,000 followers or 1,000 friends on your Facebook and you get more than 10% engagement means likes, comments, and shares. And that increases in the level of engagement based on what I said. A like has a lower level of, a view is the lowest level of engagement. And then you've got a like, higher level of engagement. Then you've got a reaction, which is like a heart or something else, because now they had to hold down the button and give you a reaction. That's higher level. A comment is even higher level of engagement. And then if they share your content, that's the highest form of engagement. Your goal should be to create shareable content. I have videos that get shared thousands of times for free. They're not always about personal injury, but they're about free legal advice. So people know I'm the guy that's going to give you free legal information. And I want you to get accustomed to seeing my face on your screen because it's going to be everywhere very soon. So I take advantage of these social media video views, and I let the market tell me which videos work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So is there a shortcut? Like, could you go to AdWords and figure out what are the long tail searches, or what's the, not the regular searches where, PI lawyer, personal injury lawyer in Atlanta. Now everybody does that, or best. I'm talking about stuff like, what do I do immediately after a car accident, or, or what do, should I give a, should I give it a statement to an adjuster, or, whatever. I mean, how do you ever go into AdWords and check that out?
So you're asking a question that's more data oriented versus creative oriented. So okay. Obviously, once you've done a lot of these videos, you don't do it just organically, because once you start making money, you need to spend it. And ideally you want to spend it on marketing. So Ken, your question is coming from a data analytics perspective. And the answer is yes. Yes, you can search the most commonly searched terms on YouTube, but only on YouTube, because YouTube is the only social media, and I put that in air quotes, that is actually a search engine. Every other social media that you and I know about are actually social media platforms. So right. People go on a feed and watch and consume content. Whereas YouTube, you search for something specific. So yes, I reverse engineer my longer form videos to see what's actually working, what are people searching. And I use the same strategy where I try to hook them in the beginning. And I also have nice graphics and thumbnails on my videos to grab their attention. So if you visit my Instagram page, you don't have to see just my face like this every single time, just stuck mid-sentence. Every one of my videos has a thumbnail in the beginning, which is used as the first frame of the video that tells you what the video is going to be about, so that if you do visit my page long after the video is posted, you know what the content is about before you click on the video, because I want the user experience to be as great as possible.
Yeah. So how do you, so you were talking about, when you're doing the regular social media, I guess other than YouTube, it's all about interruption, because you got to grab, like you said, you got 3 to 5 seconds. So have you found any types of things that grabs people's attention more? Or you just keep trying different things all the time?
Yes. I'll tell you what works best. And I won't charge you for it, because I usually, send these in like my top 5 performing videos or whatever. And I did it for my 30th birthday. I'll tell you what works best. And I really hope that people pay attention to this part, because these strategies are what make me millions of dollars. Props. You start with a prop, you put it in front of the camera. It's a pattern interrupt. Once you take out the prop and you start talking while the prop is in your hand, people are focused on multiple things, and it keeps them on your video for a little bit longer, which is just enough time for Facebook to recognize that this is good quality content, and it's going to show it to more people. So you get rewarded by having fun content by Facebook showing your content to more people. Props, number 1. Number two is use your hand motions. When I start a video, I say, stop what you're doing right now and watch this video. Stop scrolling. You need to know this. And when I use my hands, how often are you seeing people use their hands on their videos when you're scrolling? You never
Very
see
little.
it. And you know when I discovered why this works? It's when I boosted one video for $20. And I remember the video verbatim because I was sitting, it was the first time I'd worn a suit in a long time. And I was like, oh, this would be a good time to, do a video. And I literally started the video and said, stop scrolling and listen. There is no such thing as full coverage insurance. I repeat. And so I went into what full coverage insurance means and why you should have uninsured motorist coverage. From that video, I generated 8 new clients that all had only claims. And I boosted it for just $20. And I was like, I was stunned. Like, how did and it resulted in 6 figures worth of revenue. How did this one $20 boost generate so much money? And I realized it was because of the pattern interrupt. Because I kept people on my page and I kept them watching the video, Facebook showed it to more people. And so when you have that video that performs very well, you need to put money behind it because it's going to amplify so much more. So those are 2 strategies that I employ. I like to use props, and a lot of my props are checks. So you best believe when I get a big check, I'm going to show it to you. And I'll be like, yo, that's why they call me a lot of money, not a little money, And then I use my hand gestures to grab your attention. So if you use those things in your videos, you're going to notice a much higher uptick in the engagement and the likelihood of people watching your whole video.
That's a good tip. That's something everybody needs to really, really listen to. So how about lawyers that say, I just don't think I don't want to like to get in front of a camera. Ali, you're very, animated and everything. You kind of, I've got, like I used to tell everybody, I got a face for radio. What do you tell a lawyer like that?
So look, not everybody is going to be a video person. You have to remember that everything works. It's not just video that works. Everything works. Putting out articles on LinkedIn works. Putting out blogs on your website works. Doing a podcast works. Clubhouse is the highest and fastest growing social media platform right now. Clubhouse. Have you heard of it, Ken?
No.
See, Clubhouse already has, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 million users as of the time of February 2021. 3 or 4 million users. And I'm predicting right now that it's going to supersede podcasts and all forms of audio content that's being consumed within the next 18 to 24 months. It's strictly audio and it's live. Clubhouse.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'll send you an invite, Ken. If you shoot me your text, shoot me your cell phone number, I'll send you an invite. Because if you have a great voice for audio, and I was just in a room right before this where it was just a room of lawyers talking about how to generate clients or how to build their law firm. And because I got on there, I connected with this guy out in California. And now I'm realizing I need to spend more time on Clubhouse. So you don't just have to do videos. You have to figure out whatever means is necessary to at least start with your friends and family to hire you. And then once you've got that money, start growing your circle a little bit more. Yeah. My best tip is to start by putting out organic videos to your friends and family on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you use. The videos that work the best, post those on your business page and run them as ads. And who do you run them as ads to? You run them to your friends and your followers, and then friends of your followers. Because of that proximity, there's a much higher likelihood that they're going to consume your content or that they've seen you before. And it's the best way to get started on a very low budget. Okay.
And so when you push all this out, I guess you use some kind of software. They got different ones now. Which one do you like the best?
If you wouldn't have asked me, I would have remembered. But we have a software. We there's various softwares you could use to post this content on social media. It's literally
you can use HubSpot. It used to be Traffic Guys, or there's a lot of them. If you just put in
Hootsuite. I just remember
Hootsuite too.
Hootsuite, and it doesn't. So it doesn't necessarily work for all the different types of posts because you can't really do, I think, story posts on Hootsuite, but you can do a regular, I share all my LinkedIn articles through Hootsuite. And then our Instagram, Facebook posts through Hootsuite. But then some stuff I like to customize, like YouTube, and that's what we do on our own. But you can definitely use Hootsuite.
So, so when you first started out and you started doing editing, did you do the editing yourself, or did you go on like Fiverr and get somebody, or you know, or outsource it? I mean, like now they've got a company called VidChops, I think it's called, that'll do it pretty reasonably, I think.
Yeah, there's a ton of software systems now that'll. So one program that I've used in the past, I don't use it as much as I should, but it's called BigView, BIGVU. And the reason this is so great is because you can type out whatever you want to say on your phone, and it'll show up sort of like a teleprompter style. And so you can read your phone. If it's far away enough, it looks like you're just staring straight at the camera, and you won't mess up, especially if you have a video where you need to be very specific about the legalese and the terminology. BigView is a fantastic app. You can also create subtitles within BigView. So use the same content that you post on BigView, say the video, and then post the video with the subtitles. But honestly, I like TikTok more for that.
Okay.
Because you can put subtitles through TikTok.
And you were talking about boosting posts, and we do that a lot here at Pillman. We boost $5 to $20 a post, you know, depending on if we start seeing some good traction on it, then we'll start boosting it, even get more traction.
I mean, I think you should. You shouldn't boost every single post.
No,
you should only boost the ones that have the highest likelihood of a return. Yeah. And if you only do static images as your posts, you haven't even dived into the world of video. So you're missing out on just so much. And similarly, if all you do is video, there's some people don't want to see your video all the time. You got to switch it up a little bit. And so I definitely recommend boosting your posts. But we do have like an entire department that just manages our analytics on our content, because we're spending 6 figures every month between Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So we're very meticulous about where we're spending our money now. But in the beginning, it's just, hey, create some videos and put it out there, see what happens. I got nothing to lose, you know?
Yeah. So if you were giving somebody advice, what would be your, you've told them to start on their Facebook page and then do the TikTok and things like that. If they want to get serious about it, what would you tell them?
If you want to get serious about social media, treat it like your business. Don't treat it like just something extra that you could be doing.
So treat it like what? You faded out on us.
Treat it like your business.
Okay.
Social media is your marketing if you have no other marketing. And so most people outsource their marketing. I hate that idea. I hate that concept, because he who controls your paycheck controls your livelihood as an employee, and he who controls your marketing controls your business. So as a business owner, you need to be in control of your marketing. Yes, it's okay to outsource certain tasks like video editing, like managing the ads and things like that. But outsourcing the entire concept of your marketing is a huge problem. So treat it like it's a part of your business, like it's the lifeblood of your business. Like you have to dedicate 10 to 20% of your time on generating more clients. If you don't need more clients, then don't listen, because this doesn't apply to you. But I know most of us could use an extra client or two.
I don't think they'll be listening to this if they didn't want more clients. I don't think they'll be listening or watching it.
And it's so simple. It's just not easy. It's very simple. Try to create a new video every single day and try different ways of posting that video. Try it with vertical format, selfie style. Try it vertical stationary on a little gimbal. Try it widescreen with the video up, pointing up and downwards towards you. Try it with podcast style where you have a mic in front of you. Try 10 to 15 second videos. Try 30 to 60 second videos. Then try long form videos. The point is, there is no limit on the type of content you can create. You just have to create it. And you have so much beautiful information in your mind. and you're keeping that from people, you know? And I always start all of my calls and my strategy sessions with attorneys with the mindset. I want to know if you're confident enough to advertise your services or to provide services to your own mother or to your own spouse or to your own sibling.
Yeah.
If you don't have that level of confidence first, then you'll never understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's my obligation, it's my duty to share with the world what I have and what I can bring to the table. Because I'm so confident in the value of our services that it would be a shame to not share it with you.
Okay.
And so when you really believe that and you start sharing at that level, man, it's almost like you're a magnet and the leads are just coming day in and day out on autopilot.
So let me ask you this. That's another good question. How do you handle all these leads, Ollie?
Well, I used to think that I need to talk to every single one of my clients.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I used to also think that I was actually on a call similar to this. And I got put in place by this guy that was running a 9-figure law firm, exited it, sold it for, I think, like $500 million. And now he's just chilling in the beach in Hawaii. And I used to say that, look, you are the best advocate for your business. No one is going to be able to advertise you and advocate your abilities better than you can. And he's like, look, that's not true, because it sounds so much better when someone else is saying how great you are versus how great you say you are.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. And since then I decided I need to build an intake department. So I just recently, within the past year, started taking the intake department thing seriously. And so now we have a team of 4 full-time that just handle leads and calls in US. And then I have a team of virtual assistants that respond to all of my messages on social media. So we're 24/7 digitally on social media, where my virtual assistants actually respond to every single message. They follow up and they know exactly what questions to ask to qualify those leads. And then they send them to my US employees. And then for after hours, if someone's asleep and my VAs aren't sophisticated enough to answer those questions, we have our 24-hour receptionist service that can also do outbound calls and sign up those cases. So I don't leave anything up to chance. If you're calling my office, before we get off the phone, you've already signed the contract and we've already set up your treatment and you're good to go.
Yeah. That's something too that I've been preaching for years and years. What we say about ourselves is good, but what others say about us is golden. That's why I really like testimonials and video testimonials and things like that. So I want to talk to you about YouTube. Now, you put on the free stuff. Have you experimented any with YouTube ads?
I do. I definitely run YouTube ads. Those are my highest converting ads.
Do you find that so can you explain to our listeners, our listeners and our viewers, depending on what medium they're on, what are there's 2 or 3 different types of ads, like, can you explain them and which one you like better and why?
Yeah, so I personally like the 7-second and 15-second bumper ads that are non-skippable. And so there's obviously ads that people can skip, and then there's ads that people cannot skip. The shorter ones that are 7 and 15 seconds are ads that you can post on YouTube that are non-skippable. And so those videos, you really need to jump right in, get to the call to action, and elicit some sort of emotion from your viewers. But I've also found that my really long videos, when they're properly positioned, so I have some ads that are, I think, like 5 minutes long, and I position them on other videos about medical malpractice, on basically other pages that are doing way better than mine on YouTube. And I just put my video right there in front of them. And I say, are you not happy with the representation that you're getting? Did you get your lawyer's cell phone number? Are you confident that your team and the people that are supporting you and supposedly representing you are doing everything in their power to get you the maximum on your case? Well, look, I'm attorney Ali Awad, the CEO lawyer, and we have a rule at my firm. Everyone gets my cell phone number. And then I go into how we treat our clients and people just start listening, and they take that information. And I utilize the same things we were discussing earlier with, objects and sort of like, dummy cups and checks and things like that. But I grab their attention and I get over a 50%, 100% view. So over 50% of my ads are seen 100% of the way through. And so I realized that YouTube is still a hugely undertapped market for advertising. And I think you can actually be a big fish in a small pond on YouTube.
I think so too. And that's what I've been pushing. I really think that this, you were talking about Clubhouse. I think YouTube, lawyers that get in it, they're going to find a lot of leads if they'll do it right. And that's why I was asking you, because I hear people argue back and forth that, no, you want the long videos, 10, 20-minute videos actually work better. And then I hear somebody say, no, you just need to do the 7-minute ads, or no, you need to do them so they can click out of them so you don't spend as much if they're not interested. I hear different things, but I'd rather talk to somebody that's actually done it.
Well, I'll tell you this: our data on YouTube isn't as clear as I'd like it to be, because we'll have people that are watching our videos, and there's something that you've mentioned in the past that and I might be misquoting you. So if I'm misquoting you, stop me. But you said that you should know exactly where every dollar goes and how it's being allocated in your marketing. You know that proper marketing is putting $1 here and getting $7 back. And if you don't know that, then you don't know your marketing. That's kind of along those lines of what you said. And I fundamentally disagree with that.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you got a big budget and you're doing 5 or 6 different things, I'm changing my view on that, actually, Ollie. I think if you, it's so hard, everything's so different now that it's hard to tell exactly what generated it. Because if you're doing Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse, YouTube, blogs, SEO, LSA ads, Google business, the reviews, you're doing, if you're just doing that, I ain't got into that. That's just digital. Okay.
Right.
How can you, and they're seeing you all different places. You're doing retargeting ads. How do you really know? I mean, you can run off analytics, but how do you know that maybe they had to see you 7 times before they clicked on that ad and called you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a little harder now than it used to be. I still think that you need to be running, split testing things with your landing pages, because some of them will convert. I think you can measure that. I still think that you can, with certain analytics, you can tell, but I will, I'm willing to change my views on things as things change. It's like one guy, especially the guys that are spending, the more you spend, the harder it is to find that. Because if you got a guy that's spending, some of our Pilma members are spending, 2 or 3, 5, 10, 20 million a year. And there's no way for them. I mean, because they're everywhere. Like Laurie told me, he said, there's no way I'm everywhere. I'm on the billboards. I'm on the buses. I'm on TV. I'm on radio. I'm on, pay-per-click. I'm on ads. I'm everywhere. How can I know? They might have saw me 7 times before they decided to pick up the phone and call me. And they might be calling me from a tracking number off of a website or a landing page, but really, it wasn't that one thing. It was a combination of everything. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm really glad that you clarified that, because it was something you said a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But I think I want to get your opinion on this now that I have the guru of legal marketing here. I want to ask you this question. So I think there's a big difference between lead generation and brand recognition. And I think most attorneys are focusing on lead gen. All of these, ads that they're putting out are specifically designed to capture people, to hire them for their services. And they think that because of the insane amount of lead gen that they're doing, that it creates a brand over time. When really your brand is usually just your phone number or your catchphrase or something of that nature. But what I do on my social media is I discover types of content that can go viral that might not have anything to do with personal injury, but I run those as ads. I've run ads on PPP loans. I've run ads on the EIDL grants, with the whole COVID situation. I've run ads on immigration law. I've run ads on what not to do when you're pulled over by a police officer. I've run ads on how to, avoid DUI checkpoints and, how to properly conduct yourself. And even though I have nothing to do with those types of cases, and I'm not interested in signing up those cases, I want people to think about me when they think about legal advice, when they think about lawyer. And so because I'm trying to build a following on social media, I run those videos as ads because the market has told me that these are great videos because I get a ton of great engagement. And sometimes these aren't videos. They're just memes. They're posts where I'm just making fun of something. I have these videos where it's like this huge arm, this huge muscular arm, and this really tiny arm next to it, and they're arm wrestling. And under the huge arm, it says CEO lawyer. And then under the tiny arm, it says your current lawyer, and so the advertisement underneath it says, did you know that if you haven't settled your case or filed a lawsuit yet, you might be able to switch lawyers? If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Now, a lot of lawyers are not going to like that.
No, they're not.
But this is a cutthroat business. And the way it works here is, if I'm not going to eat your lunch, then the kids that are in law school right now will. And so the way that I'm generating now the reason that I'm the #1 followed injury lawyer in America on Instagram is because I run ads for videos and posts that are unrelated to client acquisition, i.e. lead gen.
Yeah.
And so then when I get those people and they follow my page, I then retarget them with a personal injury content so that they are aware that I'm not just your entertainment guy and here to, make you laugh. This is what I do, and I'm serious about my work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's a way of building your brand. I mean, the deal is people are going to hire lawyers or call lawyers or refer people to lawyers they know, like, and trust. And the more you can get your name out there and and they like you, your videos are entertaining and useful and informative, then yeah, I think so. I don't think it's a bad thing. Something you were talking about, and I was from that school too, about, trying to take cases from other lawyers. But here's the bottom line. And I just had this hit me right here when we were talking. You shouldn't worry about if you're giving great client service and doing a great job, you shouldn't have to worry about that junk. Because, listen, I used to have it all. I used to have people call me all the time wanting to change lawyers. I mean, just calling me wanting to change lawyers. And my deal was a little different. And I'm from the old school. I'm older. I'm old enough to be your grandfather. But I if it was a lawyer that I knew really was a terrible lawyer, I'd take the case.
Yeah.
If it was a lawyer that was a good lawyer or a really great lawyer, but they just won't call them back or whatever, I'd give the guy a courtesy call and tell him, hey, listen, you got a problem. Now, if I kept getting those calls, I'd start taking the cases. But you're right. It's a lot different than when I practiced too. When I practiced up to about the last 5 years, defense lawyers, and we could fight like heck in court or in a mediation, and then we go have a beer, play golf. It's not like that anymore. It wasn't that way when I finished. It was like personal. I mean, it was like dirty, underhanded when you were dealing with defense lawyers. I mean, it was just like it was a war. It reminded me of the Republicans and the Democrats now. It was all about fighting over every little thing, and you couldn't agree to disagree. And that's sad. And and it's sad that that's the way it is in politics now too, no matter which party you're for. I mean, forget about that. You can agree to disagree. But yeah, I mean.
Well, I think that's kind of the epitome of bigotry, where if you hate someone just because they disagree with your perspective and your ideologies, and you hate them just because of what they think or what they believe in, that's bigotry, And we've definitely become a society where we don't respect or appreciate or give the other person the time of day or even allow them to disagree respectfully. But, I'll tell you this, Ken, I didn't do that until I heard on the radio another advertisement from another lawyer that is a big time law firm.
Oh yeah.
Doing exactly that. That was saying, hey, look, you can switch lawyers and you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like, well, look, if that's where the standard is and that's how they're fighting, I'm not going to sit back behind and say, oh, well, these guys are going to start taking my cases.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing like back when I had 94 when I said, my partners, when I got ready I said, we got to go, we got to start TV, we got to do this. They said, well, it's unprofessional, we're not going to do it. I had to leave the law firm and start my own firm.
Yeah, I know. I
because,
read
because the deal is, I won't go sit back and say, oh, that's terrible. Whatever the rules are. I remember one time with the North Carolina State Bar, we're thinking about doing away, forbidding, this has been years ago, direct mail. And I was doing a load of direct mail. I mean, I was doing I had my home fulfillment center. I bought equipment that did fulfillment centers. I bought heavy duty equipment.
Wow.
And we were sending out like 1,000 letters a day. And I said, it's fine with me. As long as we got the level, as long as everybody's got the same rules. I said, you can do away with everything. I'm fine. I said, as long as I got the same rules, I play by any rules you give me. I said, it's fine with me if you want to do away with it. And of course, some lawyers didn't want to do away with it because they didn't have the budget for TV. I didn't care. It was actually going to help me probably,
Well, so you basically, you saw a shift in the market. You realized that in order for you to survive, you need to actually start marketing and compete with the TV, radio, billboard lawyers. And the same shift that you noticed in 1994, the majority of lawyers think the same exact way about social media.
Yeah.
Today. And the Ken Hardisons of the world are now in law school, or, are millennial lawyers like myself, and they're taking full advantage of this.
Yeah.
And that's how you get to be the top 5 or the top 3 in your state, when you see a trend and you take advantage of it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So, I mean, no one's going to understand this better than you, because you saw it, you lived it, and you had to basically break a partnership, And I 100% agree with you, man. That's just the state of the market right now. That's how personal injury is. It's cutthroat and it's going to get worse. But look, you said at the beginning of this podcast that you wanted actionable tips. And so I want to leave you with a couple of most common mistakes that I see from lawyers on their social media.
Okay.
So the most common mistakes I see on social media from lawyers is that they treat it as an advertising platform instead of a social media platform. People don't go on Facebook and Instagram to see your face and, hey, here's a big check. They don't want to be advertised to. In fact, TikTok, which is the one of the fastest growing social media video platforms right now, in their creator platform, in their ad manager platform, they tell you, don't create ads, create TikToks. Create videos that are entertaining and educating to capture people's attention. So I have this rule. If it's for social media, if it looks like an ad and it smells like an ad, it's probably a piece of shit. So don't post ads on social media. They are not going to perform as well as organic, relaxed videos where you're just having a conversation with people, because it's a social media platform. Now, that might not work on TVs and radio and billboard, where people are accustomed to advertisements. But that's also why they ignore the 4,000 plus billboards that they drive by every single week. So if you want to really maximize your social media, then create videos that are intended to entertain first and educate second. Your posts need to be fun. They need to be something that someone actually wants to comment and wants to share. And if you feel like your post feels too advertising, change it. Change the copy so that it looks like it's just a fun piece of engaging content. And I promise your results are going to be significantly better.
Well, I'm a big proponent of educational based marketing. I mean, I got the old deal, the more you tell, the more you sell without selling. And I agree with you 100%.
I started selling obviously a long time ago, but I started a couple of online businesses, and I don't know if I've told you this story, but when I was in middle school, I distinctly remember having a $10,000 week on eBay. I was about 13 years old, and I had just bought a shipment of car audio amplifiers, these Audiobahn Chrome amplifiers, these really big amplifiers. If you were ever an audiophile and you used to have subwoofers in your car, then this is like, there's a huge market for it. It's really cool. So I became an expert at the car audio and wheel industry. And I distinctly remember in middle school, I had told my mom, look, you need to come pick me up from school. I can't ride the bus to the mechanic shop because I need you to get me home quickly so I can package these amplifiers and ship them off. I was shipping to Germany. I was shipping to Italy, to Canada. I was selling these things all over the world. And in middle school, even at that time, I realized that the internet is such a vast place where a little kid that you have no idea about can sell you a product that he bought from somewhere else, do the fulfillment, and generate revenue without you even knowing who you're working with.
Yeah.
And so this kind of evolved, like my obsession with internet and social media evolved over time. And it got to a point where I realized I can start creating videos to bring in clients and never even see them. I can send them the DocuSign contracts. And the crazy thing is that now with COVID, that's the standard. Like people used to think I was crazy in 2017, where like when I say I haven't seen the past 1,000 clients that I've signed up, people used to think that's such a, a ridiculous thing and a disrespectful thing to say. It's like, that's not how you're supposed to practice. That's what people want.
Yeah.
I was just a little early to the game.
Yep.
And so in 2020 with the COVID, we had 400% growth because I had a brand established. I had the infrastructure. We went from everyone working in the office to completely remote overnight with no issues. Because I made the rule in the beginning, you need to have a laptop, you need to have a company phone, and we're going to furnish it with you. So anyway, that was my little spiel about, doing internet from a long time ago. But if we have more time, I'm happy to give more actionable tips on what doesn't work on social. So people
give us two more. Give us two more and then we'll call it a day.
Sure. So don't go where the attention isn't. Right now, if you're trying to build an organic Facebook business profile and all you're doing is just posting on Facebook business and you're not running any ads, you are wasting your time. Facebook is a pay-to-play platform on business. Now, on the personal side, you can still reach a lot of your friends and family by posting videos on there and then convincing them to go and follow you on your business page. So I'm going to give you a 2-in-1 special here. When you're posting on Facebook personal and you want people to go to your website or you want them to go to your Facebook business page or to your other social media platform, do not post a link for the other platform or for your other page in your post. Post it in the first comment because the algorithm automatically kicks it out.
So post it where?
Post it in the comment section of your post, of your video. So when you post a video, don't tell people, hey, don't include the link to go to your other page. Mention it in your first comment because that's going to pop up anyway. When you're scrolling on your feed, you're going to see the video and then the comment is right there underneath it.
That's a great tip, man.
And so there's two things here. The algorithm is going to kick you out for posting a link to some other page or some other platform.
Right.
So that's one. And number two, you can take advantage of all of your friends and family to go to your business page so that you can delineate the ones that actually want to listen to your personal injury or business or your legal advice and get them to follow that page. And then once you have them on that page, you run ads to them. Don't try to build a Facebook business page organically in 2021 because it does not work. What does work is taking that personal information on that personal page on Facebook and then getting people and shoveling them to your business page. That's the second piece of advice that I have. And finally, if you're staying away from the pages that don't have attention, don't underestimate the ones that do have attention. TikTok and Clubhouse right now are the hottest and fastest growing platforms on social media. You can create 100 videos on TikTok and you will get more views in the first 10, 15 videos than you will in doing thousands of videos on a Facebook business page. The reason I say 100 is because you need to try it out and see what works. And don't let that scare you. Just try the videos. TikTok is a beautiful platform to be able to post videos, incorporate music, add subtitles and captions, and then you can repurpose that content to Instagram on your business page, and you can repost it on your Facebook personal page. And now you've repurposed your content to all of these different pages, and you do it by only using one platform, one video, one time, and you maximize your exposure. So use TikTok.
I hear you. Good deal. I want you to give out information in case somebody wants to get up with you. How's the best way for them to contact you?
Sure. So I'm CEO Lawyer on all the social media platforms. And by the way, guys, if you're looking to build your brand on social media, get all of the tags and handles early on, because I didn't get the CEO Lawyer one for Facebook early on. So this Korean guy got it, and now I can't get it. So I had to be the CEO Lawyer on Facebook. But on every other platform, I'm CEO Lawyer. So reserve all of your social media handles, then the website domain, because someone forced me to pay thousands of dollars more than I should have because they bought it out from under me. And then trademark it. So CEO Lawyer on all of the social media platforms. And look, if you just want some advice or feedback on your videos and you want some critique, let me know. I do this every day. I'm a practitioner of it. And I'll be more than happy to assist and give you at least some actionable tips right away. If you just message me on Instagram, you can find me at CEO Lawyer.
Yeah. And something else that is exciting that it's just announced today, because you just agreed to it today, is that Ali is going to be one of our key speakers at our PILMA Internet Domination Bootcamp for Lawyers, which is going to be a virtual event, and that'll be April 22nd through the 23rd. And we're going to do it from we got 12 speakers, 6 each day. And I appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to share. And so if you like what you heard here today, I know he's going to give away the farm when he goes to the Internet Domination Bootcamp. And this is a big thrill for me, Ali, that you agreed to do this, and I appreciate it, my friend.
Man, it is my pleasure, truly. And thank you for everything that you do. You're paving the way for people like me. And I'm serious when I said that when I first listened to you on stage and heard that this guy is spending $1.7 million on marketing, I was like, this is crazy. And literally in less than 2 years from the moment I heard that, this is the power of that attraction, that law of attraction. I just said, this is what I need to do to have a successful firm. And I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And now we're spending millions of dollars a year, and it's all funneled through social media. And I credit a lot of my success to people such as yourself, because if I see this far, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And it really is my pleasure to be involved in any way. So thank you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.